What if I told you that choosing the wrong statistical test could lead to a $1 million mistake? In the world of data science, the battle between parametric and non-parametric tests isn't just academic. It's a high-stakes game that can make or break crucial decisions. In this video, we'll follow two research teams as they analyze the same dataset using different approaches. One team relies on parametric tests, while the other opts for non-parametric methods. Their journey will reveal the hidden pitfalls and unexpected strengths of each approach, ultimately changing how you view data analysis forever. Picture this: two teams of data analysts, each armed with the same dataset, but approaching it from vastly different angles. What if their divergent methods could lead to completely different interpretations of the same information? This isn't just a hypothetical scenario, it's a reality that plays out in businesses and research institutions around the world every day. Meet Team A, the parametric powerhouses. Led by Dr. Sarah Chen, a statistician with years of experience in traditional statistical methods, this group firmly believes in the power of parametric tests. Their confidence stems from a deep understanding of classical statistical theory and a track record of successful analyses in various industries. Dr. Chen's right-hand analyst, Jake Thompson, is a recent graduate with a passion for leveraging large datasets to uncover meaningful patterns. Welcome to the new era of video creation with Jog AI. Simply type your script to get started. On the other side of the office, we have Team B, the non-parametric ninjas, headed by Dr. Maya Patel, a data scientist known for her innovative approaches to complex datasets. This team takes a more cautious stance. Dr. Patel's experience has taught her that real-world data often deviates from textbook assumptions, leading her to favor robust, distribution-free methods. Her teammate, Olivia Rodriguez, brings a background in machine learning and a keen eye for identifying hidden biases in data. Both teams have been tasked with analyzing a massive corporate sales database spanning multiple years and regions. The dataset contains detailed information on product sales, customer demographics, and market trends. At first glance, it seems like a goldmine of information. However, upon closer inspection, some potential outliers and unusual patterns emerge, hinting at the complexities that lie beneath the surface. Team A, led by Dr. Chen, is brimming with confidence. They see the large sample size, over 100,000 data points, as a green light for parametric methods. With a dataset this large, we can rely on the central limit theorem, Dr. Chen explains to her team. Even if the underlying distribution isn't perfectly normal, our parametric tests should be robust enough to handle it. Jake nods enthusiastically, already envisioning the powerful t-tests and anovas they'll employ to uncover significant trends. Meanwhile, Team B takes a more measured approach. Dr. Patel peers at the scatter plots on her screen, her brow furrowed. "Look at these clusters," she points out to Olivia. "The distribution seems far from normal, and these outliers could seriously skew our results if we're not careful." Olivia agrees, recalling a case study where parametric methods led to misleading conclusions in a similar scenario. They begin discussing various non-parametric alternatives, from Mann-Whitney-U tests to bootstrapping techniques. The stakes couldn't be higher for this analysis. The company's board of directors is eagerly awaiting the results, which will inform a major strategic decision about resource allocation across different regions. Millions of dollars and countless jobs hang in the balance. The pressure is on for both teams to deliver accurate, actionable insights. As the two teams settle into their respective approaches, the stage is set for a fascinating clash of methodologies. Will Team A's faith in parametric tests be justified, or will their assumptions lead them astray? Can Team B's cautious, non-parametric approach uncover insights that traditional methods might miss? And what will happen when these two divergent analyses are presented side by side? The air is thick with anticipation as both teams dive into their initial exploratory data analysis. Dr. Chen and Jake from Team A are quickly running descriptive statistics, creating QQ plots, and preparing for a battery of parametric tests. They're particularly excited about using a one-way ANOVA to compare sales performance across different regions, confident that it will reveal significant differences to guide the company's strategy. Across the room, Dr. Patel and Olivia are taking a different tack. They're meticulously examining the data's distribution, creating box plots, and discussing the merits of various non-parametric alternatives. The Kruskal-Wallis test is high on their list for comparing regional performance, given their concerns about the data's non-normal distribution. As the teams progress, unexpected challenges begin to surface. Team A's initial analyses reveal some worrying deviations from normality in certain subsets of the data. Jake raises concerns about the validity of their parametric approach, but Dr. Chen reassures him, "Remember, with our large sample size, we can rely on the central limit theorem. Our tests should be robust enough to handle some deviations." Meanwhile, Team B grapples with their own set of issues. While their non-parametric methods are less affected by outliers and skewed distributions, they find themselves struggling to provide the same level of precise quantitative insights that the board is expecting. Dr. Patel and Olivia debate the trade-offs between the robustness of their approach and the potential loss of statistical power. As the deadline looms, both teams race to finalize their analyses. The tension is palpable as they prepare to present their findings to the board. Will their different approaches lead to conflicting recommendations? How will the decision makers reconcile potentially contradictory results? The stage is set for a statistical showdown that will challenge assumptions, push the boundaries of data analysis, and potentially reshape the company's future. As the teams put the finishing touches on their presentations, one thing is clear: this analysis will be a testament to the complexities of real-world data and the critical importance of choosing the right statistical approach. As the teams delve into their initial analyses, an unassuming visual tool is about to expose a critical weakness that could undermine one team's entire approach. The battle between parametric and non-parametric methods is heating up, and a surprising discovery awaits that will challenge everything they thought they knew about their data. Both teams begin their exploratory data analysis, focusing on the distribution of their dataset. This crucial step will determine the validity of their chosen statistical methods and potentially reshape their entire strategy. Team A, confident in their parametric approach, starts by plotting a histogram, expecting to see the familiar bell-shaped curve of a normal distribution. Dr. Chen and her team gather around the computer screen, eager to confirm their assumptions. As the graph materializes, there's a moment of hesitation. The histogram reveals a distribution that doesn't quite match the perfect symmetry they anticipated. There are slight irregularities in the tails, and the peak seems a bit off-center. Jake Thompson, the team's junior analyst, furrows his brow, recalling their earlier discussion about the central limit theorem. "It's not exactly what we expected, but it's close enough, right?" Jake asks, seeking reassurance from his more experienced colleagues. Dr. Chen nods, her confidence unwavering. "Remember, with our large sample size, we can rely on the robustness of our parametric tests. These small deviations shouldn't significantly impact our results." Meanwhile, Team B takes a more cautious approach. Dr. Patel guides her team through a series of non-parametric tests designed to assess the symmetry and overall shape of the distribution without making assumptions about its underlying form. The process of creating and interpreting QQ plots becomes a focal point for both teams. These plots compare the quantiles of the dataset against the quantiles of a theoretical normal distribution. A perfectly normal distribution would result in a straight line on the QQ plot. Team A's plot shows some deviations from this ideal, particularly at the extremes. Dr. Chen's team discusses the implications of these deviations. Look at how closely the points follow the line in the middle section, Dr. Chen points out. The tails are where we see the most deviation, but that's not unusual in real-world data. Team B, on the other hand, conducts additional tests. They employ the Shapiro-Wilk test, which provides a quantitative measure of the data's normality. The results are surprising. The test indicates a significant departure from normality, with a p-value well below the conventional threshold of 0.05. Dr. Patel gathers her team to discuss the findings. These results suggest that our data may not be normally distributed, she explains. This could have serious implications for any parametric tests we might consider using. The contrast in the team's reactions is stark. Team A's confidence remains largely intact, with Dr. Chen emphasizing the robustness of their chosen methods. Our large sample size gives us some leeway, she reassures her team. The central limit theorem is on our side. Team B, however, approaches the situation with more caution. Dr. Patel encourages her team to dig deeper into the data's characteristics. We need to understand the nature of these deviations, she insists. Are we dealing with skewness, kurtosis, or perhaps a mixture of distributions? As both teams continue their exploratory analysis, the implications of these early findings begin to loom large. Team A's reliance on parametric methods could lead to misleading conclusions if their assumptions about normality are indeed violated. On the other hand, Team B's non-parametric approach, while more flexible, might sacrifice statistical power and precision. The suspense builds as the teams prepare to move beyond these initial assessments. Will Team A's confidence in their parametric approach prove to be their undoing, or will Team B's caution lead them to miss important insights that could be gleaned from more powerful parametric tests? These early findings underscore the critical importance of thoroughly understanding a dataset's distribution before proceeding with statistical analysis. The choice between parametric and non-parametric methods is not merely an academic exercise. It has real-world implications that could significantly impact the company's strategic decisions. As Team A prepares to unleash the full force of parametric testing, the air crackles with anticipation. Could their unwavering confidence in the central limit theorem lead to a groundbreaking discovery, or are they walking into a statistical minefield? The stakes couldn't be higher as they embark on their analysis, armed with t-tests and ANOVA, ready to extract powerful insights from their vast data set. Dr. Chen and her team carefully select their analytical weapons, opting for the tried and true parametric tests that have served statisticians well for decades. Their choice is rooted in the belief that their large sample size, over 100,000 data points, provides a solid foundation for these methods. As they begin their analysis, they encounter a few outliers in the data, points that seem to stray far from the expected pattern. But rather than discard these potentially valuable pieces of information, they decide to keep them, trusting in the robustness of their chosen tests. This decision highlights a key advantage of parametric tests, their ability to handle some deviations from perfect normality, especially when working with large data sets. The team's confidence is not unfounded, as parametric tests are generally more powerful than their non-parametric counterparts. But what exactly does power mean in this context? Statistical power refers to the probability that a test will correctly reject a false null hypothesis. In simpler terms, it's the likelihood that a test will detect a real effect when one exists. Parametric tests, such as t-tests and ANOVA, typically have higher power than non-parametric alternatives, particularly when dealing with large sample sizes. This increased power means they're more sensitive to small but meaningful differences in the data, potentially uncovering insights that might be missed by less powerful tests. With this understanding, Team A dives into their analysis, starting with a series of t-tests to compare sales performance between different marketing strategies. They meticulously prepare their data, ensuring that each comparison is set up correctly. As they run the tests, the results begin to pour in, each one accompanied by a p-value that indicates the statistical significance of the observed differences. The team's excitement grows as they interpret these results. Many of the comparisons yield p-values well below the conventional threshold of 0.05, suggesting statistically significant differences between the marketing strategies. Dr. Chen explains to her team that these low p-values indicate strong evidence against the null hypothesis of no difference between the groups. In practical terms, this means they can be more confident that the observed differences in sales performance are real and not just due to random chance. Encouraged by these initial findings, Team A moves on to their ANOVA analysis. They're particularly interested in comparing the performance of multiple product categories across different regions. ANOVA is the perfect tool for this job, allowing them to simultaneously compare the means of several groups and determine if there are any significant differences among them. As they set up their ANOVA model, the team carefully considers their variables. They designate product category and region as their independent variables and sales performance as the dependent variable. With a few clicks, they run the analysis, and the results appear on their screens. The output is a treasure trove of information. The overall F statistic is highly significant, indicating that there are indeed differences among the groups. But the real gold lies in the post hoc tests, which reveal exactly which product categories and regions differ from each other. The team pores over these results, identifying clear patterns and unexpected differences that could inform crucial business decisions. As they dig deeper into the data, Team A uncovers some truly exciting insights. They find that one particular product category consistently outperforms others across all regions, suggesting a potential area for increased investment. They also identify a region where sales performance lags significantly behind others, highlighting an opportunity for targeted improvement strategies. The results are not just statistically significant, they're also presented in a format that's familiar and easily interpretable to business stakeholders. The team can confidently state the magnitude of differences between groups and provide clear confidence intervals around their estimates. This ability to quantify the uncertainty in their findings is a key advantage of parametric methods, allowing for more informed decision-making. As Team A prepares to present their findings, there's a palpable sense of excitement. Their results are clear, statistically significant, and seem to offer actionable insights that could drive the company's strategy forward. The power of their parametric approach has yielded a wealth of information, potentially uncovering trends and patterns that could revolutionize the company's operations. Yet, as they polish their presentations and prepare their recommendations, a nagging doubt lingers in the back of their minds. These results look convincing, perhaps too convincing. Could their faith in the central limit theorem and the robustness of their methods have led them to overlook something crucial? As they bask in the glow of their apparent success, they can't help but wonder what approach Team B has taken and what insights they might have uncovered. While Team A basks in the glow of their statistically significant results, across the hall, Team B is taking a different approach. Dr. Maya Patel and her team have chosen to embrace nonparametric methods, a decision that initially seemed overly cautious, but might just uncover insights that have been hiding in plain sight. Team B's choice of nonparametric tests, specifically the Mann-Whitney-U and Kruskal-Wallis tests, stems from their concerns about the dataset's distribution. These tests don't require the assumption of normality, making them suitable for data that might not follow a perfect bell curve or when sample sizes are small. This flexibility comes at a cost, however. As Team B begins to analyze their results, they find that some comparisons show no statistical significance, a stark contrast to Team A's clear-cut findings. The lack of immediate striking results doesn't deter Dr. Patel and her team. They understand that non-parametric tests, while potentially less powerful than their parametric counterparts, offer distinct advantages. These tests are particularly useful when dealing with skewed distributions or when outliers are present, as they are less sensitive to extreme values. This robustness could prove crucial in a business context where data often deviates from textbook assumptions. To understand Team B's approach, it's essential to grasp how rank-based tests work. Instead of using raw data values, these tests convert the data into ranks. For example, in the Mann-Whitney U-test, all observations from both groups are combined and ranked from lowest to highest. The test then compares the sum of ranks between the two groups to determine if there's a significant difference. This ranking process makes the test less affected by outliers or extreme values that might skew parametric analyses. Dr. Patel guides her team through the process of conducting and interpreting the Mann-Whitney U-test. They start by comparing customer satisfaction ratings between two service providers. Unlike Team A's t-test, which would compare means, the Mann-Whitney U-test assesses whether one group tends to have higher ranks than the other. This approach is particularly suitable for ordinal data, like satisfaction ratings, which may not be normally distributed. As they analyze the results, Team B notices something interesting. While Team A's analysis showed significant differences in satisfaction between all service providers, the Mann-Whitney U-test reveals that some of these differences disappear. This discrepancy raises important questions about the nature of the data and the appropriateness of parametric tests in this scenario. Moving on to compare performance across multiple regions, Team B employs the Kruskal-Wallis test, a non-parametric alternative to ANOVA. This test extends the principles of the Mann-Whitney U-test to 3 or more groups. Again, the data is ranked, and the test determines if there are statistically significant differences between the mean ranks of the groups. The Kruskal-Wallis test results paint a more nuanced picture than Team A's ANOVA. While some regional differences remain significant, others that seemed important in the parametric analysis now appear less pronounced. Dr. Patel explains that this could be due to the test's focus on median differences rather than means, which can be a better measure of central tendency in skewed distributions. As Team B digs deeper into their analysis, they uncover areas where their results differ significantly from Team A's findings. For instance, when examining sales data across regions, the non-parametric approach reveals less dramatic differences. Dr. Patel hypothesizes that this could be due to the presence of outliers or a heavily skewed distribution that might have inflated the differences in Team A's parametric analysis. These divergent results raise a critical question: why are these results different and which should we trust? The answer, as Team B is discovering, is not straightforward. Non-parametric tests, while more conservative, offer distinct advantages. They make fewer assumptions about the underlying data distribution, which can be crucial when dealing with real-world datasets that often deviate from ideal conditions. Moreover, non-parametric tests shine in situations where the data is ordinal or when the assumptions for parametric tests are not met. For example, in the analysis of customer satisfaction ratings, which are inherently ordinal, the non-parametric approach might provide a more accurate representation of the data's true nature. Another key advantage of non-parametric tests is their resistance to outliers. In a business context, where a few exceptional performers or unusual events can significantly skew data, this robustness can be invaluable. It allows for a more stable analysis that isn't unduly influenced by extreme values. As Team B reviews their findings, they realize that their cautious approach has revealed a layer of complexity in the data that Team A's analysis might have missed. While the results may lack the clear-cut significance levels that management often craves, they provide a more nuanced and potentially more accurate representation of the underlying patterns in the data. As teams A and B delve deeper into their analyses, they stumble upon a surprising discovery that threatens to upend their carefully crafted approaches. Hidden within their vast dataset, a small cluster of extreme data points emerges, demanding attention and raising critical questions about how to proceed. These outliers, so different from the rest of the data, present a fork in the road for both teams, forcing them to confront a fundamental question in statistical analysis. What do we do with data that doesn't fit the mold? As teams A and B delve deeper into their analyses, they stumble upon a surprising discovery that threatens to upend their carefully crafted approaches. Hidden within their vast data set, a small cluster of extreme data points emerges, demanding attention and raising critical questions about how to proceed. These outliers, so different from the rest of the data, present a fork in the road for both teams, forcing them to confront a fundamental question in statistical analysis. What do we do with data that doesn't fit the mold? As Team A grapples with this unexpected challenge, Dr. Chen argues for keeping the outliers in their analysis. She contends that these data points, however extreme, represent real observations and should not be discarded lightly. Every data point tells a story, she asserts. And by removing these outliers, we might be erasing important information about our market. Her team points out that in some cases, outliers can represent valid extreme cases that are crucial for understanding the phenomenon being studied. As Team A grapples with this unexpected challenge, Dr. Chen argues for keeping the outliers in their analysis. She contends that these data points, however extreme, represent real observations and should not be discarded lightly. Every data point tells a story, she asserts, and by removing these outliers, we might be erasing important information about our market. Her team points out that in some cases, outliers can represent valid extreme cases that are crucial for understanding the phenomenon being studied. Across the whole, Dr. Patel and Team B take a different stance. They argue that including these outliers could lead to skewed results and potentially misleading conclusions. Dr. Patel points out that nonparametric tests, which are less sensitive to extreme values, might be a better choice when dealing with outliers that cannot be removed. She suggests using the Mann-Whitney-U test as an alternative to their original plan, citing its resilience in the face of outliers, especially in skewed distributions. Dr. Patel also proposes using robust statistical methods to minimize the influence of outliers. We could use the median instead of the mean as our measure of central tendency, she explains. In the presence of outliers, particularly in skewed distributions, the median often provides a more accurate representation of the typical value. The teams find themselves at a crossroads, each path leading to potentially different outcomes. Team A considers the implications of retaining the outliers. They recognize that while keeping these extreme values might provide a more comprehensive picture, it could also lead to overestimating certain effects or masking important trends in the majority of the data. Team B, on the other hand, weighs the consequences of removing or transforming the outliers. They acknowledge that this approach might produce cleaner, more easily interpretable results, but worry about the potential loss of valuable information. Dr. Patel reminds her team of a case study in clinical trials where excluding outliers led to a significant change in results, ultimately affecting conclusions about treatment efficacy. As the debate intensifies, both teams realize the complexity of outlier management. They discuss various methods for identifying and handling outliers in large datasets, from simple visual inspection of box plots to more sophisticated statistical techniques like the interquartile range, IQR method, or Cook's distance for regression models. Dr. Chen suggests a compromise, conducting analyses both with and without the outliers to compare results. This way, she proposes, we can see how much these extreme values are actually influencing our conclusions. Dr. Patel agrees, adding that they could also employ bootstrapping techniques to assess the stability of their results in the presence of outliers. The teams also consider the context of their data and the specific research questions at hand. They recognize that the decision to remove outliers should not be made lightly or uniformly across all situations. In some cases, these extreme values might represent crucial insights into market trends or consumer behavior that could inform strategic decisions. As they prepare to make their final decisions, both teams feel the weight of the moment. They know that their choices regarding these outliers could significantly impact their final conclusions, potentially altering the company's strategic direction and resource allocation across regions. As teams A and B wrap up their analyses, a new challenge emerges that could shake the foundations of their conclusions. How certain can they really be about their results? The answer lies in a powerful statistical tool that quantifies uncertainty, but its interpretation isn't as straightforward as one might think. Both teams turn their attention to calculating confidence intervals for their key metrics. These intervals provide a range of values that likely contain the true population parameter, offering crucial insight into the precision of their estimates. As the teams dig into their calculations, a striking difference emerges between their approaches. Team A, led by Dr. Chen, applies parametric methods to construct their confidence intervals. These techniques, which assume a specific distribution, often normal, typically produce narrower intervals. The team's excitement grows as they observe relatively tight ranges around their point estimates, suggesting a high degree of precision in their findings. Meanwhile, Dr. Patel's Team B opts for nonparametric bootstrapping methods to create their confidence intervals. This approach, which doesn't rely on assumptions about the underlying distribution, results in noticeably wider intervals. Initially, some team members express concern about the broader ranges, wondering if they indicate less certainty in their results. Dr. Patel explains that the wider intervals aren't necessarily a weakness. In fact, they reflect a more conservative approach that can be beneficial when dealing with data that may not conform to traditional assumptions. She emphasizes that this method is particularly valuable when the underlying data distribution is unknown or when outliers are present, situations they've encountered throughout their analysis. The teams delve deeper into the implications of their different interval widths. Dr. Chen points out that Team A's narrower confidence intervals could potentially lead to more decisive action. For instance, if they're estimating average sales for a new product, a tighter range might encourage more aggressive marketing strategies. The precision suggested by these intervals could instill greater confidence in stakeholders when making high-stakes decisions. However, Dr. Patel counters with a note of caution. She argues that while narrower intervals might seem more appealing, they could lead to overconfidence if the underlying assumptions aren't met. She gives an example. Imagine we decide to launch a new product based on a narrow confidence interval that suggests high expected sales. If our data doesn't truly follow a normal distribution, we might be underestimating the uncertainty in our projections. This discussion prompts both teams to reflect on the balance between precision and robustness in their analyses. They recognize that the choice between parametric and non-parametric methods for constructing confidence intervals isn't just a technical decision, it has real-world implications for the company's strategic direction. Dr. Chen acknowledges the value of Team B's more conservative approach, particularly given the challenges they've faced with potential outliers and non-normal distributions. She suggests that presenting both sets of confidence intervals to stakeholders could provide a more comprehensive view of the uncertainty in their estimates. Dr. Patel agrees, adding that it's crucial to communicate the level of confidence associated with these intervals. We need to be clear that our 95% confidence intervals, for example, indicate that if we repeated this sampling process many times, about 95% of the intervals would contain the true population parameter, she explains. This transparency, she argues, is vital for stakeholders to understand the reliability of the estimates and make informed decisions. As the teams prepare their final presentations, they grapple with how to effectively convey the nuances of their confidence intervals to non-technical stakeholders. They recognize that simply presenting numbers won't be enough. They need to contextualize what these intervals mean for practical decision-making. Dr. Chen proposes using visual aids to illustrate the difference between their narrow parametric intervals and Team B's wider non-parametric intervals. She suggests overlaying these intervals on key metrics to show how the interpretation of results might change depending on the method used. Dr. Patel builds on this idea, recommending that they include scenarios demonstrating how different interval widths could affect specific business decisions. For instance, they could show how a wider interval might suggest a more cautious approach to inventory management for a new product line, while a narrower interval could justify a more aggressive expansion strategy. The teams also discuss the importance of emphasizing that confidence intervals are not definitive boundaries. They plan to explain that while these intervals provide valuable insights into the precision of their estimates, they should be considered alongside other factors in the decision-making process. As they finalize their presentations, both teams feel a sense of accomplishment in how they've navigated the complexities of their analyses. They've moved beyond simple point estimates to provide a more nuanced view of their findings, complete with measures of uncertainty that acknowledge the limitations of their methods. As the two teams enter the boardroom, the atmosphere crackles with anticipation. Months of rigorous analysis have led to this moment, but what unfolds next leaves everyone stunned. Despite working with the same dataset, teams A and B present starkly different conclusions and recommendations. Dr. Chen takes the floor first, her voice brimming with confidence. She outlines Team A's findings, emphasizing clear trends and statistically significant differences across various metrics. Their parametric approach has yielded precise estimates and narrow confidence intervals, painting a picture of a company poised for targeted growth in specific regions and product categories. Our analysis shows a clear opportunity to increase market share in the Southeast by 15% if we allocate resources to our top-performing product line, Dr. Chen asserts, gesturing to a graph displaying a steep upward trend. She continues, detailing how their ANOVA results reveal substantial variations in customer preferences across different demographics. The executives lean forward, intrigued by the clarity and decisiveness of Team A's recommendations. Dr. Chen concludes with a bold statement. By following our proposed strategy, we project a 22% increase in overall revenue within the next fiscal year. As Team A wraps up, there's a palpable sense of optimism in the room. However, this mood shifts dramatically as Dr. Patel steps up to present Team B's findings. Dr. Patel begins by acknowledging the complexity of the dataset and the potential pitfalls of making assumptions about its distribution. She then proceeds to unveil a series of results that seem to contradict many of Team A's conclusions. While we agree that there are opportunities for growth, our non-parametric analysis suggests a more nuanced picture, Dr. Patel explains. She presents a series of graphs showing wider confidence intervals and less pronounced differences between groups. For instance, when we look at the Southeast region using robust statistical methods, we find that the projected market share increase could be anywhere from 5% to 18%, with our best estimate around 10%. The executives exchange glances, their brows furrowing as they grapple with these conflicting narratives. Dr. Patel continues, highlighting areas where their analysis shows no statistically significant differences, directly contradicting some of Team A's key points. As the presentation progresses, the tension in the room becomes palpable. The company's CEO, Lisa Martinez, interrupts with a pointed question. How is it possible that you are looking at the same numbers but coming to such different conclusions? This question cuts to the heart of the challenge, communicating complex statistical concepts to non-experts. Dr. Chen steps in, attempting to explain how their parametric methods allow for more precise estimates due to assumptions about the data's distribution. Dr. Patel counters, emphasizing the importance of making fewer assumptions and the robustness of their approach to outliers and non-normal distributions. The CFO, Michael Wang, looks perplexed. But which one is right? He asks, echoing the sentiments of many in the room. Dr. Patel seizes this moment to address the elephant in the room. It's not about one approach being right and the other wrong, she explains. It's about understanding the strengths and limitations of each method and how they apply to our specific data set. She goes on to illustrate this point with a concrete example. Consider our customer satisfaction scores. Team A's analysis showed significant differences between all our service providers. However, our non-parametric tests revealed that some of these differences disappeared. This suggests that a few extreme ratings might be skewing the results, which our method is less sensitive to. Dr. Chen interjects, defending their approach. But remember, with our large sample size, we have the statistical power to detect even small differences that could be meaningful for our business strategy. As the discussion unfolds, it becomes clear that the executives are struggling to reconcile these divergent viewpoints. The promise of clear, actionable insights has been replaced by a complex debate about statistical methodologies. Lisa Martinez raises her hand, silencing the room. I appreciate the thoroughness of both analyses, but I'm concerned. How are we supposed to make decisions when our own data teams can't agree on what the numbers are telling us? This question hangs in the air, highlighting the critical importance of clear, honest communication of statistical findings. It's not just about the numbers, but about conveying the meaning, limitations, and implications of those numbers to decision makers. Dr. Patel takes a deep breath before responding. You're right to be concerned, and this is actually a valuable moment for us as an organization. What we're seeing here is the importance of approaching data analysis from multiple angles. Each method has its strengths and weaknesses, and by comparing them, we can gain a more comprehensive understanding of our data. Dr. Chen nods in agreement, adding, perhaps the most responsible approach is to consider both analyses in our decision-making process. Where our results align, we can be more confident. Where they differ, we know we need to investigate further or proceed with caution. This suggestion seems to resonate with the executives, but it's clear they're still grappling with how to proceed. The CTO, Rachel Goldstein, speaks up. I think we need to dig deeper into why these methods are giving us different results. Can you walk us through your methodological choices and defend why you believe your approach is appropriate for this dataset? The boardroom falls silent as Rachel Goldstein's question hangs in the air. Both teams exchange glances, realizing that the moment of truth has arrived. They must now defend their methodological choices in front of the company's leadership, with millions of dollars and the future direction of the business at stake. Dr. Chen steps forward first, her confidence evident as she begins to explain Team A's parametric approach. Our choice of parametric tests is rooted in their superior statistical power, she asserts. With our large sample size, we can reliably detect even small effects that might be missed by less sensitive methods. She continues, emphasizing the theoretical foundation of their approach. The central limit theorem supports our use of parametric tests. Even if our underlying data isn't perfectly normal, with over 100,000 data points, we can be confident that our sample means will approximate a normal distribution. Dr. Patel counters, her voice calm but resolute. While parametric tests do offer advantages in certain situations, our non-parametric approach provides robustness that's crucial when dealing with real-world data. She pauses, allowing her words to sink in before continuing. Our methods make fewer assumptions about the underlying distribution, which is particularly important when we can't be certain about the shape of our data. The CTO leans forward, intrigued. Can you elaborate on why these different assumptions matter? Dr. Patel nods, seizing the opportunity to delve deeper. Certainly. One key difference is that our non-parametric tests assess the median rather than the mean. This can be more appropriate for skewed distributions, which are common in business data. For instance, salary data often exhibits right skewness, where the median provides a better measure of central tendency than the mean. Dr. Chen interjects, her tone measured but insistent. While that's true, our parametric tests are still valid due to our large sample size. The power of our tests allows us to detect significant effects with greater precision. Power isn't everything, Dr. Patel counters. We need to consider the nature of our data and the questions we're trying to answer. If our research question focuses on the central tendency of a highly skewed distribution, a non-parametric test may be more appropriate regardless of sample size. The debate shifts to the concept of type 1 and type 2 errors. Dr. Chen explains, our parametric tests minimize the risk of type 2 errors, failing to detect a real effect. This is crucial when making high-stakes business decisions. We don't want to miss opportunities for growth or improvement. Dr. Patel nods in acknowledgement but offers a counterpoint. While that's important, we must also consider type 1 errors, falsely detecting an effect that doesn't exist. Our non-parametric methods are more conservative, reducing the risk of making decisions based on statistical artifacts. As the discussion progresses, areas of agreement emerge. Both teams acknowledge the importance of carefully considering data, characteristics, and research questions when selecting statistical methods. They also agree on the value of using multiple approaches to validate results. Dr. Chen concedes, in practice, when we're unsure about the normality of our data, running both parametric and non-parametric tests can provide valuable insights. If the results are similar, it reassures us that our parametric test results are valid. Dr. Patel builds on this point exactly. And when results differ, it prompts us to investigate further, potentially uncovering important nuances in our data that we might have otherwise missed. The executives listen intently, their expressions a mix of intrigue and concern. It's clear that both approaches have merit, but the question remains, which one should guide their multi-million-dollar decision? As the tension in the room builds, Rachel Goldstein speaks up again. It seems we're dealing with a complex issue where there might not be a clear right answer. Instead of trying to crown a winner, perhaps we should be asking how we can leverage the strengths of both approaches. This suggestion catches both teams off guard. They exchange glances, a mixture of surprise and intrigue evident on their faces. The idea of combining their methods hadn't occurred to them, so focused were they on defending their individual approaches. Dr. Chen is the first to respond. That's an interesting proposition. We could potentially use our parametric tests for their statistical power and precision, but then validate our findings with non-parametric methods to ensure robustness. Dr. Patel nods in agreement. And where our results differ, we could dig deeper to understand why. This could provide even richer insights into our data and business dynamics. The atmosphere in the boardroom shifts as both teams begin to see the potential in this collaborative approach. The executives lean in, eager to hear more about how this hybrid methodology might work in practice. As the executives lean in, Eager to hear more about the potential hybrid methodology, a thoughtful silence descends upon the boardroom. The suggestion of combining parametric and non-parametric approaches has sparked a glimmer of possibility, but how exactly would such a methodology work in practice? The teams are about to embark on a journey that could redefine statistical analysis as they know it. Jake Thompson, a junior analyst from Team A, breaks the silence with a tentative question. What if we're not limited to choosing just one approach? Could we leverage the strengths of both parametric and non-parametric methods? His suggestion is met with raised eyebrows and curious glances from both teams. Dr. Chen and Dr. Patel exchange looks, their initial skepticism giving way to intrigue. The idea of combining methods that they've long seen as distinct and often opposing is unconventional, to say the least. However, as seasoned statisticians, they recognize the potential value in thinking outside the box. Dr. Patel is the first to respond. Interesting thought, Jake. What you're suggesting aligns with a concept known as methodological triangulation in data analysis. It's an approach that involves using multiple methods to study a phenomenon, potentially leading to more reliable and valid results. Dr. Chen nods, her mind already racing with possibilities. I see where you're going with this. By combining our approaches, we could potentially validate our findings across different assumptions about data distribution. This could be particularly useful given the complexity of our data set. As the teams begin to warm up to the idea, they start discussing how they might synthesize their parametric and non-parametric results. Dr. Chen suggests we could start by running both sets of tests on our data. Where the results align, we'd have strong evidence to support our conclusions. Where they differ, we'd have an opportunity to dig deeper and understand why. Dr. Patel builds on this thought. Exactly. And cases where our parametric tests show significant results, but our non-parametric tests don't, we could use that as a flag to investigate further. It might indicate the presence of outliers or skewed distributions that are influencing our parametric results. The potential benefits of this multi-method approach to their complex dataset become increasingly apparent as the discussion continues. Jake points out, by using both approaches, we could provide a fuller picture of the data. Our parametric tests could give us the precise estimates and narrow confidence intervals that the board is looking for, while our non-parametric tests could confirm the robustness of these results, especially when dealing with any skewed distributions or outliers we might encounter. Lisa Martinez, the CEO, who has been listening intently, interjects with a practical concern. This sounds promising, but how would we implement and interpret such a hybrid analysis? It seems like it could quickly become very complex. Dr. Chen acknowledges the challenge. You're right, Lisa. Implementing this approach would require careful planning and execution. We'd need to clearly define our criteria for when to rely more heavily on parametric versus non-parametric results. We'd also need to be prepared to explain our methodology and findings in a way that's accessible to non-statisticians. Dr. Patel adds, another challenge would be in reconciling any conflicting results. If our parametric and non-parametric tests lead to different conclusions, we'd need a framework for deciding how to proceed. This might involve additional analyses or even collecting more data in some cases. Despite these challenges, the excitement in the room is palpable. Michael Wong, the CFO, leans forward. Could this approach really provide us with the best of both worlds, the precision of parametric tests and the robustness of non-parametric methods? Dr. Chen responds thoughtfully. It's certainly possible, Michael. By integrating both parametric and non-parametric methods, we could enhance the robustness of our statistical analyses. This is particularly valuable in a business context where our data often doesn't meet the strict assumptions required for parametric tests alone. Dr. Patel nods in agreement. Moreover, this hybrid approach would allow us greater flexibility and adaptability in our statistical modeling. We could tailor our analysis to the specific characteristics of each dataset we encounter, rather than trying to force all our data into a single methodological framework. As the teams contemplate this new direction, they begin to see the value of a more flexible, multifaceted analytical strategy. They realize that by combining methods, they can address the limitations of each approach. Parametric tests, while more powerful under certain conditions, can be sensitive to outliers. Non-parametric tests, on the other hand, handle outliers better, but may lack the precision needed for some business decisions. Jake, emboldened by the positive reception to his initial suggestion, offers another thought. This approach could also help us in situations where we're dealing with different types of data within the same analysis. For example, we could use parametric tests for our normally distributed continuous variables and non-parametric tests for any ordinal data we encounter. The teams nod in agreement, recognizing the potential of this idea to handle the diverse data types often encountered in real-world business scenarios. As teams A and B prepare to merge their methodologies, a palpable sense of anticipation fills the room. The reanalysis is about to begin, and it could reshape everything they thought they knew about the data. Dr. Chen and Dr. Patel exchange a determined nod, signaling their readiness to embark on this collaborative journey. The teams start by clearly defining their objectives for the hybrid approach. They aim to leverage the strengths of both parametric and non-parametric methods to gain a more comprehensive understanding of the dataset. Dr. Chen emphasizes the importance of maintaining the statistical power of their parametric tests, while Dr. Patel stresses the need for robustness against potential violations of normality assumptions. As they begin the reanalysis, the teams first apply both parametric and non-parametric tests to key variables. They compare the results side by side, looking for consistencies and discrepancies. In some cases, the findings align closely, providing additional confidence in their conclusions. However, they soon encounter instances where the two approaches yield conflicting results. One particularly interesting case emerges when examining customer satisfaction scores across different product categories. The parametric ANOVA suggests significant differences between all categories, while the non-parametric Kruskal-Wallis test only detects differences between some groups. This discrepancy prompts a deeper investigation into the nature of the data distribution within each category. The teams decide to visualize the data using both traditional histograms and kernel density plots. They discover that while some categories indeed follow a roughly normal distribution, others exhibit notable skewness. This revelation highlights the value of their hybrid approach, as it allows them to tailor their analysis methods to the specific characteristics of each subset of data. To handle conflicting results, the teams develop a systematic approach. They first examine the assumptions underlying each test and assess whether they are met for the specific data in question. When assumptions are violated, they give more weight to the non-parametric results. However, they also consider the practical significance of the differences detected by the parametric tests, especially given their large sample size. As the reanalysis progresses, new insights begin to emerge. By combining the precision of parametric methods with the robustness of non-parametric techniques, the teams uncover nuanced patterns in the data that were previously overlooked. For instance, they identify a subset of customers who consistently rate their satisfaction higher across all product categories, regardless of actual performance metrics. This discovery prompts a discussion about potential loyalty programs or targeted marketing strategies. The teams also find that the relationship between certain variables is more complex than initially thought. While the parametric analysis suggested a linear relationship between advertising spend and sales performance, the non-parametric approach reveals a nonlinear pattern with diminishing returns at higher spending levels. This insight could have significant implications for resource allocation decisions. One of the most challenging aspects of the reanalysis is interpreting and presenting the multi-method results. The teams grapple with how to communicate the nuances of their findings without overwhelming their audience with technical details. They decide to create a tiered reporting structure with a high-level summary for executives, supported by more detailed analyses for those who wish to delve deeper. Dr. Chen and Dr. Patel work together to develop a novel visualization that combines the strengths of both approaches. They create a hybrid plot that overlays parametric confidence intervals with non-parametric bootstrap estimates, providing a comprehensive view of the uncertainty surrounding their key findings. This innovative display helps bridge the gap between the two methodologies and offers a more nuanced perspective on the data. As the reanalysis nears completion, the teams reflect on the value of their collaborative effort. They recognize that by approaching the data with multiple tools and perspectives, they've gained a deeper, more holistic understanding of the underlying patterns and relationships. The hybrid approach has not only validated many of their initial findings, but also revealed important subtleties that could significantly impact their recommendations. The anticipation builds as they prepare to present their unified results to leadership. Both teams feel confident that their comprehensive analysis will provide a solid foundation for informed decision-making. They've discovered that the true power of statistical analysis lies not in choosing between parametric and non-parametric methods, but in thoughtfully combining them to extract maximum insight from the data. The projector hums to life, casting a soft glow on the faces of the executives gathered in the boardroom. Dr. Chen and Dr. Patel exchange a glance, their combined weeks of intense analysis distilled into a single presentation. As they begin, there's a palpable shift in the room's atmosphere. Instead of the usual parade of definitive charts and graphs, the screen displays a more nuanced visual narrative. Dr. Chen opens with a stark admission. Our findings aren't as black and white as we initially expected. She gestures to a complex graph that merges traditional bar charts with shaded areas representing uncertainty. We've discovered that our data tells a richer, more complex story than either parametric or non-parametric methods alone could capture. The executives lean forward, their expressions a mix of curiosity and concern. Dr. Patel steps in, explaining how their hybrid approach uncovered subtle patterns in customer behavior that might have been overlooked by a single methodology. She points to a series of overlapping confidence intervals, some narrow and precise, others wider and more conservative. In some areas, we found clear, actionable insights, Dr. Patel continues. For instance, our parametric analysis showed a strong correlation between customer satisfaction and repeat purchases in our electronics division. She clicks to the next slide, revealing a scatter plot with a clear trend line. However, when we applied non-parametric methods, we uncovered an interesting non-linear relationship in our apparel sector. The team methodically walks through their findings, carefully balancing areas of certainty with those requiring further investigation. They explain how parametric tests provided precise estimates for well-behaved data, while non-parametric approaches offered robust insights when assumptions were violated. As the presentation progresses, the executive's initial skepticism gives way to engaged questioning. The CFO, Michael Wong, raises his hand. This is fascinating, but how do we make decisions based on these ranges of possibilities? Dr. Chen nods, anticipating this question. Great point, Michael. We've developed a tiered recommendation system. She reveals a slide with 3 categories: high confidence, moderate confidence, and further investigation required. In the high confidence category, we recommend immediate action, Dr. Patel explains. For example, our analysis strongly suggests that increasing our marketing budget in the Southwest region by 15% could lead to a significant boost in market share. The team then moves to the moderate confidence section, where they propose a series of small-scale pilot programs to test their findings before full implementation. This approach allows us to capitalize on promising opportunities while managing risk, Dr. Chen adds. The further investigation required category sparks the most discussion. Here, the team outlines areas where their analyses produced conflicting or inconclusive results. Rather than glossing over these uncertainties, they propose targeted research initiatives to gather more data and refine their understanding. As the presentation nears its conclusion, CEO Lisa Martinez speaks up. I appreciate the thoroughness of your analysis, but I'm concerned about the lack of clear-cut answers. How can we move forward decisively with all this uncertainty? Dr. Chen takes a deep breath before responding. Lisa, I understand your concern, but consider this. By acknowledging the complexity in our data, we're actually reducing our risk. We're avoiding the pitfall of false certainty that could lead to costly mistakes. Dr. Patel builds on this point. Moreover, this approach allows us to be more agile. Instead of committing fully to a single course of action based on potentially flawed assumptions, we can adapt our strategies as we gather more information. The room falls silent as the executives absorb this perspective. Then Rachel Goldstein, the CTO, speaks up. I see the value in this approach. It's like our agile development process. We iterate and refine based on new information. Why shouldn't our business strategy work the same way? This comment seems to resonate with the group. The tension in the room begins to dissipate as the executives engage in a lively discussion about how to implement this more nuanced approach to data-driven decision-making. As the meeting draws to a close, Lisa Martinez stands up. Dr. Chen, Dr. Patel, thank you for this enlightening presentation. While it's not the clear roadmap we initially expected, I believe you've given us something far more valuable, a realistic view of our challenges and opportunities. She pauses, looking around the room. Moving forward, I want all our analytics teams to adopt this hybrid approach. We need to embrace the complexity of our data, not shy away from it. This may require some changes in how we operate, but I'm confident it will lead to more robust, flexible strategies. As the team filed out of the boardroom, a question lingered in the air. What if the key to unlocking business insights isn't just in the data itself, but in how we approach it? The journey of Dr. Chen and Dr. Patel was about to reveal some unexpected lessons that would reshape their entire methodology. In the days following the presentation, the analytics team gathered to reflect on their experience. They recognized that their hybrid approach had not only yielded more robust results, but had also opened up new avenues for exploration. Dr. Chen started the discussion by emphasizing the importance of understanding data characteristics before selecting statistical methods. We learned that choosing the right tests that align with our data's distribution and variance is crucial for accurate analysis, she explained. Dr. Patel built on this point, highlighting how their experience had shown the value of methodological flexibility. The future of data science will likely see a greater emphasis on non-parametric methods, she noted, especially in scenarios where data doesn't meet the assumptions required for parametric tests. She explained how this shift is driven by the need for more robust analyses in the face of complex and varied data distributions. The team discussed how non-parametric tests had proven particularly valuable in handling skewed data and outliers. They realized that this characteristic made these tests especially useful in fields like healthcare and social sciences, where data often deviates from normality. Jake Thompson, the junior analyst, pointed out that they had seen this firsthand in their own analysis of customer satisfaction ratings. As the conversation continued, the team explored how their experience would shape future data analysis projects. They agreed that a key takeaway was the importance of continuous learning and adaptation in their statistical methodologies. The landscape of data science is constantly evolving, Dr. Chen observed. We need to stay updated on the latest statistical techniques and best practices. The discussion then turned to the broader implications for data science in business decision-making. They recognized that their hybrid approach had allowed them to balance statistical rigor with practical business needs. Dr. Patel explained how this balance was becoming increasingly important in the business world. We're seeing a trend where non-parametric tests are becoming more common in business analytics, especially when dealing with ordinal data or small sample sizes, she said. As they delved deeper into the lessons learned, the team realized that their experience had highlighted the value of simulation studies. Dr. Chen suggested that in future projects they could utilize such studies to determine the robustness of parametric tests under non-normal conditions. These studies have shown that parametric tests can still yield reliable results even when data isn't perfectly normally distributed, provided the sample size is sufficiently large, she explained. The team also discussed the potential of integrating more advanced statistical techniques into their workflow. They were particularly excited about the possibilities offered by bootstrapping and permutation tests. Dr. Patel explained how these methods could enhance their analytical capabilities and lead to more informed decisions based on their data. As the meeting progressed, the team began to consider how these lessons might apply to other analytical challenges across the organization. They realized that their experience could serve as a template for approaching complex data analysis problems in various departments. Dr. Chen proposed developing a framework that would guide analysts in choosing between parametric and non-parametric methods based on data characteristics and project goals. This could help ensure consistency in our approach while still allowing for flexibility, she suggested. Dr. Patel added that they should also consider incorporating more robust data visualization techniques into their workflow. Visual aids can be incredibly powerful in communicating complex statistical concepts to non-technical stakeholders, she explained. The team also discussed the importance of interdisciplinary collaboration in tackling complex analytical challenges. They recognized that their success had come from combining their diverse expertise and perspectives. We should encourage more cross-functional projects, Jake suggested. It could lead to innovative solutions we might not have considered otherwise. As they wrapped up their discussion, the team felt a sense of excitement about the future of statistical analysis in business. They had learned that embracing complexity and uncertainty, rather than shying away from it, could lead to more nuanced and actionable insights. Welcome to the new era of video creation with Jog AI. Simply type your script to get started. As word of the hybrid analytical approach spread through the company, a quiet revolution began to unfold. The successful collaboration between Dr. Chen and Dr. Patel's teams had sparked a conversation that extended far beyond the boardroom. Employees from various departments were buzzing with curiosity about this new method that promised to bridge the gap between precision and robustness in data analysis. The ripple effect started small, with individual analysts and team leaders expressing interest in learning more about the hybrid approach. They recognized the potential to enhance their own projects and decision-making processes. However, as with any significant change, there was also resistance. Some veteran analysts clung to their tried-and-true methods, arguing that the new approach was unnecessarily complex and time-consuming. To address these concerns and capitalize on the growing interest, the company's leadership decided to implement new data analysis guidelines. These guidelines emphasized the importance of considering both parametric and non-parametric methods when approaching datasets. They also stressed the need for a critical evaluation of data characteristics before selecting statistical techniques. Implementing these changes wasn't without its challenges. Many departments had established analytical practices that had been in place for years. Changing these ingrained habits required more than just issuing new guidelines. It demanded a shift in mindset and culture. To facilitate this transition, the company organized a series of workshops and training sessions. Dr. Chen and Dr. Patel took leading roles in these events, sharing their experiences and insights from their groundbreaking project. They emphasized the importance of understanding the strengths and limitations of different statistical methods and how combining approaches could lead to more robust and reliable results. One of the key challenges was addressing the fear of increased complexity and workload. Some managers worried that adopting a hybrid approach would slow down decision-making processes and increase costs. To counter these concerns, the company highlighted examples where the new approach had actually streamlined analysis and prevented costly mistakes based on misleading results. As the new guidelines took root, the potential long-term benefits of a more nuanced approach to data began to emerge. Projects across different departments started yielding insights that were both more precise and more reliable. The finance department, for instance, adopted the hybrid approach in their quarterly forecasting models by combining parametric methods with non-parametric bootstrapping techniques. They were able to provide more accurate predictions while also better quantifying the uncertainty in their estimates. The marketing team also embraced the new approach, applying it to their customer segmentation analysis. By using both parametric and non-parametric clustering algorithms, they uncovered nuanced customer groups that had previously gone unnoticed. This led to more targeted and effective marketing campaigns, resulting in improved customer engagement and retention rates. Even the Human Resources Department found value in the hybrid approach. They applied it to their employee satisfaction surveys, combining traditional parametric analyses with non-parametric methods to better understand the factors influencing workplace happiness. This nuanced analysis led to more effective employee retention strategies and a measurable improvement in overall job satisfaction. As more success stories emerged, skepticism began to wane. The hybrid approach was no longer seen as a complex burden, but as a powerful tool for gaining deeper insights from data. Analysts who had initially resisted the change started to see the benefits in their own work, leading to a grassroots movement of adoption throughout the company. The shift in data culture also began to attract attention from outside the organization. Industry publications featured articles about the company's innovative approach to data analysis, and competitors started to take notice. The company's reputation for data-driven decision-making grew, attracting top talent in data science and analytics. This cultural shift had profound implications for the company's future success. By embracing a more nuanced approach to data analysis, the organization was better equipped to navigate the complexities of the modern business landscape. The ability to extract reliable insights from diverse datasets gave the company a competitive edge in market analysis, product development, and strategic planning. Moreover, the new data culture fostered a spirit of curiosity and continuous learning among employees. Analysts were encouraged to question assumptions, explore alternative methods, and collaborate across departments. This interdisciplinary approach to problem solving led to innovative solutions that might have been overlooked under the old paradigm. As the company continued to refine and expand its hybrid analytical strategies, a new question began to emerge. Could this approach revolutionize not just one company, but an entire industry? The potential for improved decision-making across organizations was immense, promising a future where data analysis could be both more precise and more reliable. As news of the company's success spread, a storm was brewing in the world of business analytics. Could a method born from one organization's needs become the new gold standard for an entire sector? The ripple effects of the hybrid analytical approach were about to reach far beyond the confines of a single company, setting the stage for a potential revolution in how industries handle data analysis. The innovative combination of parametric and non-parametric methods caught the attention of industry leaders and analysts alike. What started as an internal solution to a specific challenge was now being scrutinized as a potential game changer for data-driven decision-making across various fields. The approach's ability to balance the precision of parametric tests with the robustness of non-parametric methods struck a chord with organizations grappling with increasingly complex datasets. As word spread, debates ignited across boardrooms and professional conferences. Some traditionalists argued for the tried and true parametric methods, citing their long history of success and statistical power. Others championed the flexibility of non-parametric tests, particularly in light of the growing recognition that real-world data often deviates from textbook assumptions. The hybrid approach, however, offered a middle ground that was gaining traction. The first adopters outside the original company were those facing similar challenges with data complexity and distribution irregularities. A major pharmaceutical firm, for instance, implemented the hybrid approach in their clinical trials, leveraging non-parametric methods to handle outliers while maintaining the statistical power of parametric tests for key efficacy measures. This allowed them to analyze the effectiveness of new treatments more comprehensively, leading to more nuanced and reliable conclusions. In the financial sector, a leading investment bank integrated the hybrid approach into their risk assessment models. By combining traditional parametric methods with non-parametric techniques, they were able to capture both the central tendencies and the extreme events in market behavior. This resulted in more robust risk predictions, helping the bank navigate volatile market conditions with greater confidence. As success stories accumulated, the challenge of standardizing these complex analytical methods became apparent. Industry consortiums formed to develop best practices and guidelines for implementing hybrid approaches. These collaborations brought together statisticians, data scientists, and domain experts from various sectors, fostering a cross-pollination of ideas that further refined the methodology. One such consortium, led by representatives from tech giants and academic institutions, focused on creating a framework for choosing between parametric, non-parametric, and hybrid methods based on data characteristics and research questions. Their work aimed to provide a roadmap for organizations looking to adopt more sophisticated analytical strategies without getting lost in the technical complexities. The impact of these efforts was profound. Companies that embraced the hybrid approach reported improvements in their decision-making processes. A retail conglomerate, for example, used the method to analyze customer behavior across its diverse brand portfolio. The nuanced insights gained from this analysis led to more targeted marketing strategies and a measurable increase in customer retention rates. In the healthcare sector, a network of hospitals implemented the hybrid approach to analyze patient outcomes and resource allocation. By combining the strengths of different statistical methods, they were able to identify subtle patterns in treatment efficacy and patient care that had previously gone unnoticed. This led to optimized care protocols and improved patient satisfaction scores across the network. As the business world continued to evolve its analytical practices, academia took notice. Universities began incorporating hybrid analytical approaches into their data science and business analytics curricula. This shift in education ensured that the next generation of analysts would enter the workforce equipped with a more comprehensive analytical toolkit. The potential for a paradigm shift in business analytics loomed large. The hybrid approach was not just changing how individual companies operated, it was reshaping the very foundation of data-driven decision-making across industries. Organizations that had long struggled with the limitations of purely parametric or non-parametric methods now had a more flexible and powerful alternative. However, the transition was not without its challenges. Implementing these sophisticated methods required significant investment in training and technology. Some companies faced resistance from employees accustomed to traditional analytical approaches. Others grappled with the complexity of integrating new methodologies into existing systems and processes. Despite these hurdles, the momentum behind the hybrid approach continued to build. Industry leaders recognized that in an era of big data and complex market dynamics, the ability to extract meaningful insights from diverse datasets was becoming a critical competitive advantage. The promise of more robust, reliable, data-driven decision-making was too compelling to ignore. As the ripples of change reached beyond corporate boardrooms, they began to lap at the shores of ivory towers. The academic world took notice of the innovative hybrid approach that had been forged in the crucible of business necessity. Could this fusion of parametric and non-parametric methods, born from practical challenges, spark a renaissance in statistical theory? The intersection of theory and practice was about to yield unexpected insights. Initially, some theoretical statisticians viewed the hybrid approach with skepticism. They questioned whether a method developed to solve specific business problems could have broader implications for statistical theory. However, as more case studies emerged showcasing the effectiveness of this approach in diverse real-world scenarios, academics began to take a closer look. The business case study that had originated from the collaboration between Dr. Chen and Dr. Patel's teams became a focal point of academic interest. Researchers were intrigued by how the hybrid method had successfully navigated the complexities of large datasets with non-normal distributions and outliers. They recognized that this approach addressed long-standing challenges in applied statistics that traditional methods often struggled with. As academics delved deeper into the hybrid approach, they began to identify potential areas where it could inform and expand existing statistical theories. One area of particular interest was the development of new test statistics that could leverage the strengths of both parametric and non-parametric methods. Researchers explored ways to create more robust estimators that maintained high statistical power while being less sensitive to violations of distributional assumptions. The practical challenges encountered in the business world served as catalysts for new lines of theoretical inquiry. For instance, the issue of handling outliers in large datasets prompted researchers to revisit fundamental concepts in robust statistics. They began developing new theoretical frameworks that could better account for the presence of extreme values without sacrificing the precision offered by parametric methods. The academic interest in the hybrid approach led to a surge in collaborations between universities and businesses. Companies opened their doors to researchers, providing access to real-world data sets and complex analytical problems. In return, academics brought their theoretical expertise to bear on practical challenges, refining and expanding the hybrid methodology. One such collaboration involved a leading tech company partnering with a statistics department at a prestigious university. Together, they worked on developing new algorithms for anomaly detection in large-scale network data. The resulting methods combined the efficiency of parametric models with the flexibility of non-parametric techniques, leading to more accurate identification of potential security threats. Another partnership formed between a multinational bank and a group of econometricians. They focused on creating improved models for risk assessment that could handle the nonlinear relationships often observed in financial data. By integrating parametric and non-parametric components, they developed a hybrid approach that provided more reliable risk estimates across various market conditions. These collaborations had a profound impact on data science education. Universities began revising their curricula to reflect the growing importance of hybrid methods in real-world applications. Courses were developed that taught students not just the theoretical foundations of statistics, but also how to apply and adapt these methods to complex, messy data sets encountered in industry. Some institutions went a step further, creating interdisciplinary programs that combined statistics, computer science, and domain-specific knowledge. These programs aimed to produce graduates who could bridge the gap between theory and practice, equipped with the skills to tackle the most challenging data analysis problems in any field. As the academic world embraced the hybrid approach, new avenues of research began to emerge. Researchers started exploring how machine learning techniques could be integrated into the hybrid framework, potentially leading to more powerful and flexible analytical tools. Others investigated the theoretical properties of hybrid methods, seeking to establish rigorous mathematical foundations for these pragmatic approaches. The intersection of theory and practice in statistical analysis held the promise of significant advancements. By grounding theoretical work in real-world challenges, researchers hope to develop more relevant and applicable statistical methods. At the same time, the rigorous examination of hybrid approaches by academics could lead to refinements and improvements that would benefit practitioners across industries. This academic interest in hybrid methods also sparked discussions about the future of statistical education. Many experts argued for a more applied, problem-solving oriented approach to teaching statistics. They envisioned a curriculum that would equip students with a diverse toolkit of methods, along with the judgment to select the most appropriate tools for each unique situation. As the field of data analysis evolves, a quiet revolution is brewing beneath the surface. While many expect the next big breakthrough to come in the form of a groundbreaking algorithm or cutting-edge technology, experts are increasingly recognizing that the true game changer may be a fundamental shift in how we approach data itself. This emerging perspective challenges us to embrace the inherent complexity of real-world problems rather than simplifying them to fit existing models. The integration of artificial intelligence and machine learning with traditional statistical methods is at the forefront of this transformation. These technologies are not merely replacing conventional approaches, but enhancing them, creating a symbiosis that leverages the strengths of both paradigms. Machine learning algorithms excel at handling large datasets and uncovering complex patterns that might elude traditional statistical techniques. This synergy is giving rise to hybrid approaches that promise more nuanced insights and improved decision-making across various industries. Welcome to the new era of video creation with Jog AI. Simply type your script to get started. However, as we navigate this new landscape, it's crucial to recognize that technological advancements alone won't solve all our analytical challenges. In fact, they may introduce new complexities. The increasing sophistication of AI and machine learning models has led to a growing demand for interpretability and explainability, particularly in business contexts. Decision makers need to understand not just what a model predicts, but why it makes those predictions. This need for transparency is driving research into methods that can provide clear explanations for complex model outputs, ensuring that AI-driven decisions can be trusted and validated. Amidst this technological surge, the importance of foundational statistical knowledge remains paramount. As new tools and techniques emerge, data scientists must maintain a strong grasp of traditional statistical methods. This understanding is essential for accurately interpreting results and making informed decisions based on data. It also provides the necessary context for effectively applying and adapting new technologies to specific problem domains. The future of data analysis likely lies in the development of hybrid methods that combine the best of classical statistics with modern machine learning approaches. These hybrid techniques could offer the robustness and interpretability of traditional methods while harnessing the power and flexibility of AI. For instance, we might see the emergence of algorithms that use machine learning to identify optimal parameters for classical statistical tests or statistical frameworks that incorporate deep learning models for feature selection and dimensionality reduction. As these developments unfold, They have the potential to reshape the business world in profound ways. Companies that can effectively leverage these hybrid approaches may gain significant competitive advantages. They could make more accurate predictions, uncover hidden patterns in their data, and make decisions with greater confidence. Moreover, these advanced analytical capabilities could open up new possibilities for innovation, enabling businesses to tackle problems that were previously considered too complex or resource intensive to address. As these developments unfold, they have the potential to reshape the business world in profound ways. Companies that can effectively leverage these hybrid approaches may gain significant competitive advantages. They could make more accurate predictions, uncover hidden patterns in their data, and make decisions with greater confidence. Moreover, these advanced analytical capabilities could open up new possibilities for innovation, enabling businesses to tackle problems that were previously considered too complex or resource intensive to address. This emphasis on adaptability extends beyond technical skills. Future data scientists will need to be comfortable working with ambiguity and complexity. They'll need to navigate the ethical considerations that arise from increasingly powerful analytical tools, ensuring that their work respects privacy, fairness, and transparency. Moreover, they'll need to be effective communicators capable of translating complex analytical findings into actionable insights for non-technical stakeholders. The future of data analysis is not just about more powerful algorithms or larger datasets. It's about a fundamental shift in how we approach problems and make decisions. By embracing complexity rather than shying away from it, we open ourselves up to deeper insights and more nuanced understanding. This mindset, combined with the right tools and techniques, has the potential to drive innovation and progress across all sectors of society. As we have explored the cutting edge of data analysis, a paradox emerges. In our quest for automated intelligence, we may be overlooking the most sophisticated analytical engine of all, the human mind. While algorithms and artificial intelligence dominate headlines, the journey of Dr. Chen and Dr. Patel's teams reveals a surprising factor that could be the key to unlocking data's true potential. Throughout their analysis process, it wasn't just the statistical methods or computational power that drove insights, it was the human decisions, intuition, and creativity that shaped every step. From the initial choice between parametric and non-parametric approaches to the innovative development of a hybrid methodology, human judgment was the guiding force. This raises an important question. How can we strike the right balance between automated analysis and human insight? As datasets grow larger and more complex, there's an undeniable need for powerful algorithms and machine learning models. These tools can process vast amounts of information and uncover patterns that might elude human perception. However, the interpretation of these patterns, the understanding of their real-world implications, and the ability to ask the right questions still rely heavily on human expertise. Consider the critical role of domain knowledge in interpreting statistical results. While an algorithm can identify correlations or trends, it takes a human with deep understanding of the business context to determine whether these findings are meaningful or actionable. For instance, when Dr. Chen and Dr. Patel's teams uncovered a non-linear relationship in the apparel sector, it was their industry knowledge that allowed them to interpret this finding in light of market dynamics and consumer behavior. Moreover, the human elements of curiosity and skepticism play a vital role in driving data analysis forward. It was Jake Thompson's curiosity about the validity of their parametric approach that led to a deeper examination of their data's distribution. Similarly, Dr. Patel's skepticism about the normality assumptions prompted the exploration of non-parametric alternatives. These human traits The willingness to question assumptions and explore alternative explanations are what push the boundaries of data analysis and lead to new discoveries. Welcome to the new era of video creation with Jog AI. Simply type your script to get started. The development of the hybrid approach itself is a testament to human creativity in data science. Faced with conflicting results and complex data characteristics, Dr. Chen and Dr. Patel didn't simply rely on established methods. Instead, they creatively combined parametric and non-parametric techniques, leveraging the strengths of each to create a more robust analytical framework. This innovative solution emerged not from an algorithm, but from human problem-solving and collaboration. As data analysis becomes more powerful and far-reaching, the need for ethical considerations becomes increasingly critical. Algorithms don't have an inherent moral compass. It's up to human data scientists to ensure that analyses respect privacy, promote fairness, and maintain transparency. The team's decision to create a tiered reporting structure, clearly communicating the level of confidence in their findings, demonstrates this ethical approach to data presentation. But how can we nurture these essential human elements in an increasingly tech-driven world? As companies invest heavily in advanced analytics tools and AI capabilities, there's a risk of overlooking the development of human analytical skills. The success of Dr. Chen and Dr. Patel's project suggests that companies should prioritize not just technical training, but also the cultivation of critical thinking, creativity, and ethical reasoning among their data science teams. This might involve creating more opportunities for cross-functional collaboration, as seen in the project's success. It could also mean encouraging data scientists to pursue interdisciplinary knowledge, combining technical skills with domain expertise, and even elements of philosophy or ethics. Educational institutions, too, have a role to play, developing curricula that balance technical proficiency with these broader analytical and ethical skills. The enduring importance of human insight in the data analysis process cannot be overstated. While machines excel at processing and pattern recognition, humans bring contextual understanding, intuition, and the ability to ask profound questions. It's the combination of human creativity with computational power that leads to truly transformative insights. As we look to the future of data analysis, it's clear that the most successful approaches will be those that effectively integrate human and machine intelligence. The hybrid method developed by Dr. Chen and Dr. Patel's teams is just one example of how this integration can yield powerful results. By recognizing and nurturing the unique capabilities of human analysts, their creativity, their ethical reasoning, their ability to navigate complexity and ambiguity, we can ensure that data science continues to drive meaningful progress across industries. As we've seen throughout this journey, the choice between parametric and non-parametric tests extends far beyond technical considerations. It represents a fundamental approach to interpreting our complex world through data. By embracing methodological diversity and remaining open to innovative techniques, analysts can uncover richer insights and make more informed decisions. The future of statistical analysis in business will increasingly rely on integrating machine learning with traditional methods, allowing for nuanced insights from complex datasets. This evolution demands that data scientists and business analysts continuously update their skills and adapt to new methodologies. As you approach your next data challenge, remember that your most powerful asset is your willingness to question assumptions, explore alternative approaches, and innovate in your analytical methods.